Today is Cyber Monday. Oh, yes, it is. It's Cyber Monday. So here in the U.S., of course, we had Thanksgiving. So that was a lot of fun. I had a blast. Then we had Black Friday. And of course, many people were out there spending money on Thanksgiving because Black Friday starts on Thursday now. Don't know. And of course, today is Cyber Monday, where billions of dollars are being spent. Not by me. I don't know. I don't know how much shopping you're doing today, but hey, if you are, time to take a break because the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, you know what? I just realized as I was getting things ready today, I did not fix the date for today's show. So let me pop in here real quick and actually fix that. Because I've actually been down here in the Duct Tape Studios for quite some time so far today. Because I was interviewing Daryl Hayhurst from Ulysses North America, and we were doing an interview about the upcoming Torg Eternity Kickstarter that's kicking off on Wednesday. So for the Nile Empire, so that's what I have been up to. We tried to actually record the. Whoops, hang on. Tried to record the interview on Saturday, but we had some technical issues. I couldn't hear him. So I thought that was very, very bizarre. But let me pop back over here. Yeah, as I'm looking around, and we should actually show the correct date now. So we'll find out in just a sec. Yay! Today's the 26th. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hey, everything else is all set up. So actually, I finished up the interview with Daryl about 15 minutes before I start the show. So, anywho, welcome aboard. If you happen to be watching live, kick back. It's pretty casual around these here places. So today I'm actually going to crack open and take a first look at Codenames Marvel from USAopoly. I know this has been out for a little bit, but it's going to be new to me. So I'm going to be taking a peek at this. And of course, I also have a good chunk of gaming news today too. So that's very, very cool. I've got a couple of role-playing game Kickstarters that really have sparked my interest. So I do want to point out that this is episode 203. Yeah, I know, pretty crazy. Hang on, let me bring up all my little chat and stuff here. Today is episode 203 of the Daily Dope. How about that? Getting close. Next month is going to mark a year. Pretty wild. So I do want to say that if you do like the show, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you happen to like the channel, be sure to subscribe. And because this is a live stream, there is chat available. It is on YouTube. Does not show up on screen, but I do keep an eye on the chat. So if you want to say hello, or you have a question, or maybe you want to see something a little closer with Codenames Marvel, be sure to chime in and I will respond. So something else I do want to point out, I am actually running a contest right now for Twitter followers. If I hit 3,500 Twitter followers by Christmas Eve, December 24th, I will actually give every one of my Twitter followers, every single one, a PDF copy of the Knights and Magic Fantasy miniatures rules that I own the rights to. So you don't even have to be into fantasy too, because they can be used for historical minis too. So I thought, little Christmas gift to float out there for everybody, or I guess I'll say holiday gift. So still got a ways to go. I think I've got, what am I at, like 26 47 or something, so 800 and some followers. So my work is cut out for me to get to 3,500, but hey, trying to make it something cool. All right, so I'm going to jump into the news. Do want to point out as well that I know some folks don't like the gaming news when I cover it. So, of course, down in the show notes, there are timestamps. You can jump ahead. You can skip through the news of the day. But let's kind of move on through here. I got to admit, I have had to move my computer and stuff around a little bit. And actually, it was down here before. Now it's over here. So I don't have a lot of room for the mouse. So I had to kind of switch things around a little bit. Anyway, so let's jump on into the news, because Tasty Minstrel Games has a new release that's hitting early next month, and I've got the dope on Gugong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. China, 1570. China is under the reign of the Longqing Emperor of the Ming Dynasty. He inherited a country in disarray after years of mismanagement and corruption. Well, I guess I was running it. He resided in the Forbidden City, which was the seat of many emperors under the Ming Dynasty. Constructed from 1406 to 1420, the complex consists of 980 buildings and covers 72 ha, over 180 acres. It is also under the Ming Dynasty that the Great Wall of China was rebuilt, fortified, and expanded. Around this period, China was under heavy attack from the Mongols, so maintaining the Great Wall was essential. Most of what we now have left of the Great Wall we owe to the Ming Dynasty. The country was already famous for its very intricate bureaucracy, but this also led to a lot of corruption. Even though the penalties for corruption were very high, the highest officials of the Forbidden City would pretend to uphold the ban on corruption by accepting gifts of petitioners and returning one of seemingly lower value. Gugong uses this extraordinary custom as its basis. Players take on the role of powerful Chinese families trying to gain influence and power by exchanging gifts with officials. The gift cards you offer as a player, and we're talking cards, not gift cards like to Starbucks, that you offer as a player has to be of a higher value than the one you receive, forcing you to make strategic choices regarding which actions you want to take each turn. You'll travel around China, sail down the Grand Canal, purchase prestigious jade, help construct the Great Wall, secure advantages through decrees, influence the game through intrigue, and ultimately receive an audience with the Emperor. If only one player succeeds in doing so, he or she wins. If several players succeed, the player with the most victory points among the players wins the game. Gugong is for 1 to 5 players, so there is a solitaire component to this. It's for ages 12 and up, plays around 60 to 90 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $59.95 when it arrives very soon, December 4th. Seems kind of interesting. So I do believe, now I'm not positive, but I do believe that this is actually a Chinese game that is going to be released as an English language edition. I think. I am not positive. I know this is not the first time that this game has showed up, but I do know that Tasty Minstrel is releasing, I do believe, the first English language edition of the game. December also brings another game, or I should say a box, which a lot of people will be pretty pumped about, because the Kingdom Builder family box from Queen Games does arrive next month, and I've got the dope. In Kingdom Builder, the players create their own kingdoms, obviously enough, by skillfully building their settlements, aiming to earn the most gold at the end of the game. 9 different kinds of terrain are on the variable game board, including locations and castles. During his turn, a player plays his terrain card and builds 3 settlements on 3 hexes of this kind. If possible, a new settlement must be built next to one that player's existing settlements. When building next to a location, the player may seize an extra action tile that he may use from his next turn on. These extra actions allow extraordinary actions such as moving your settlements. By building next to a castle, the player will earn gold at the end of the game, but the most gold will be earned by meeting the conditions of the 3 Kingdom Builder cards. These 3 cards, from a total of 10 in the game, specify the conditions that must be met in order to earn the much desired gold, such as earning gold for your settlements built next to water hexes, or having the majority of settlements in a sector of the board. Each game, players will use a random set of Kingdom Builder cards, special actions, and terrain sectors to build the map. The family box includes a lot of goodies, so it's going to include the base game, the Nomads expansion, materials for a 5th player, and 2 Queenies expansions. So I guess the Queenies are like little expansions, maybe? And those 2 Queenies are the Caves and the Capital. The game is for 2 to 5 players. As I mentioned, the family box includes that 5th player element. Also, it's for ages 8 and up, plays in about 45 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $64.99 when it arrives next month. Although I got to admit, I do not have a release date. Couldn't find one. So I do know that's coming in December. Gotta be completely honest, I've never played Kingdom Builder. I have always heard really good things about it, and I know it won the big award over in Essen in, I believe it was 2012. I think. Pretty sure. I think it's 2012. And I've always heard great things about it, but I've never played it. I would really like to play it. Seems pretty cool. I might have to dig in the old pocketbook because it's supposed to be an excellent game. Really, really is. And this will include a lot of goodies in it as well. All right, moving right along. We're going to move into some role-playing game news. Wizards of the Coast is going to be releasing the Dungeons & Dragons poster maps early next year. And I've got the dope on these tactical maps reincarnated. Bring your Dungeons & Dragons game to life with this collection of 20 beautifully rendered full-color tactical poster maps. Maps are a key element of every Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Yeah, okay. A map's importance in bringing your world to life can't be overstated. The same can be said for your encounter maps. This I will disagree with, but hey, some people dig miniatures and maps for their RPGs. I don't. I do more theater of the mind. Anyway, sometimes you need a visual representation of the area your adventurers are in, or perhaps tactical combat is simply the way your group rolls. However you play, I was going to say, we've got you covered. It's not me personally, it's Wizards of the Coast, has you covered. 20 beautifully rendered tactical poster maps are contained herein, perfect for bringing any D&D game to life. The D&D tactical maps reincarnated will include Tomb of Horrors, Vorrukoth, Demon Queen's Enclave, Death's Reach, the Book of Vile Darkness, Kingdom of the Ghouls, the Dungeon Master's Kit, and Orcs of Stonefang Pass, all from 4th edition. 3rd edition is represented by Fields of Ruin, Gargantuan Blue Dragon, Vaults of the Underdark, Legend of Drizzt Scenario Pack, the Colossal Red Dragon, Red Hand of Doom, and that is all of them. The set will arrive on February 19th, and it is going to carry an MSRP of $24.95. I do believe, wasn't it early this year that didn't Wizards of the Coast release, what was it, Dungeon Tiles reincarnated or reborn or something like that? They seem pretty cool. They look pretty cool. I think they were like 3 sets. I think there was City, Dungeon, and Wilderness. So if you are into like the tactical aspects of role-playing games, doesn't even have to be Dungeons and Dragons, you may look to pick these up. And you figure, let's see, so we got 20 poster maps and it's $24.95. It's just a little more than $1 per. So not too shabby. I assume they're double-sided, so there'll be 10 posters in all. So, do you want to mention the first of the RPG Kickstarters that really caught my eye is from Free League, because they recently launched a Kickstarter for the third and final of the Mutant Year Zero standalone expansions, and I've got the dope on a Mutant Elysium. When humanity falls, when nations and authorities collapse, only the most basic human bond remains: family. While the world burns, the powerful industrial and financial dynasties Warburg, Zubov, Kruger, and Kilgore form a covenant called Elysium, after the meadows of eternal spring of Greek mythology. Should say after the meadows of eternal spring of Greek mythology. That sounds much better. Deep down in the bedrock, they build the enclave named Elysium 1, designed to weather the long atomic winter. Decades later, after the devastating Enclave Wars, Elysium 1 is a gilded prison, a lonely outpost in a sea of quiet destruction. Within the Enclave's dim halls, fear and suspicion grow unchecked. The houses turn on each other, and after a violent confrontation, the heads of the four ruling houses create a force of judicators, with the authority to strike against anything that threatens law and order in the Enclave. You are one of these judicators. Alongside agents from the other houses, it's your duty to investigate any misdeeds. But never forget that your strongest loyalty is always towards your family. You are the true heirs of doom. The Enclave is in decline, and you must struggle to ensure that your house gains influence over the dwindling resources that remain. When humanity sets foot on the surface again, it will be your house that leads the way into the new dawn. Your family. As I mentioned, this is the third major expansion to Mutant Year Zero, the award-winning post-apocalyptic tabletop role-playing game by Free League Publishing. But Mutant Elysium is no mere supplement. It stands on its own and can be played as a complete game in its own right. So get ready for the final fall of humanity. Free League has put together a Kickstarter video. It's pretty cool. It runs almost about 4 minutes, but it is mighty interesting. So let's kick back and give it a watch.
When humanity falls, when nations and authorities collapse, only the most basic human bond remains: blood. While the world burns after the Red Plague, 4 powerful families, financial and industrial dynasties, form an alliance to survive the end of the world. These 4 great houses, Warburg, Zubov, Kruger, and Kilgore, name their covenant Elysium, after the meadows of eternal spring of Greek mythology. While other Titan powers flee into the cold darkness of space, or to the depths of the sea, the leaders of Elysium decide to dig into the bedrock. There, underground, the houses are to weather the long atomic winter. The first enclave is named Elysium 1, home to 10,000 souls. It is no mere shelter. The leaders of the houses see the enclave as the ark of humanity, the seed of a new civilization. They find inspiration in history, especially the era of the late 19th century. The wars and disasters of the 20th and 21st centuries are never to be repeated in the New World. Not all inhabitants of the enclave belong to the great houses. Armies of workers and service personnel are handpicked from the family's countless companies and subsidiaries to serve the rich and powerful. But the safety in the depths is not to last. The mistrust between the Titan powers grows. When they finally launch their weapons of mass destruction against each other, the effects are devastating. Most of the Elysium enclaves are utterly destroyed. The few that survive are damaged and isolated. Elysium 1 is now a lonely outpost in a sea of quiet destruction. Decades pass, resources dwindle, despair grows. Despite its splendor, Elysium 1 is no more than a gilded prison. Within its halls, fear and suspicion grow unchecked. In the shadows, people ready themselves for conflict. Enclave workers, who have toiled loyally year after year, grateful for being spared from disaster, begin to organize themselves and question their masters. After a violent confrontation, the heads of the houses decide to create a force of judicators. You are one of these judicators. Alongside agents from the other houses, it is your duty to investigate crimes and impose the appropriate sentences. But never forget that your strongest loyalty is always towards your family. The Enclave is in decline, and you must fight to ensure that your house gains power and influence over the dwindling resources that remain. You are the true heirs of doom. When humanity sets foot on the surface again, it will be your house that leads the way into the new dawn. Your lineage, your blood.
The project for Mutant Year Zero Elysium is over 700% funded, and you can reserve the 200-plus page core book as well as unlock stretch goals in PDF for a $28 pledge. Or you can add the physical book as well as the PDF and unlock stretch goals for a $39 pledge. The Kickstarter runs through December 13th with an expected delivery date of April of next year. Gotta say, that $39 pledge for the physical book is a really good deal because one of the stretch goals, I believe it was like 200 backers, something like that, that they were going to take it from being a softcover book to a hardcover book. So, and I have done some reviews for some of Free League Publishing's books like Tales from the Loop, which I really love, really cool. I'll actually have something to say about Tales from the Loop in just a sec. As well as the core book for Mutant Year Zero. I have not seen any of the different expansions, but I think one of the expansions is, I think it's robots. I think it's self-aware robots, and I think another one is kind of like the animals, right? So mutated animals and that. But yeah, Mutant Year Zero is very, very cool. So I gotta say, I think it'd be kind of twisted to be playing this where it's like, you know, it's the downfall of humanity, right? I don't know, pretty wild, pretty cool. Then again, I guess, you know, maybe it's not so weird. People play zombie apocalypse games all the time. So sweet. So definitely check this out. I think this is a pretty sweet deal because this is actually standalone. This is a standalone game. I'm assuming it's going to have the rules for Mutant Year Zero in the book as well, because, like I said, it is a standalone product. There's another RPG Kickstarter which really has my juices flowing too, and it's a revisiting of the classic Judges Guild D&D adventure, Teagle Manor, and it's coming from Frog God Games. And unfortunately, I was trying to pull an image of the old original Judges Guild adventure and couldn't find it. So I had kind of left an open spot in my slides here if I could have found it, but I did not. But I do have the dope on Teagle Manor. Teagle Manor, the first haunted house dungeon that started it all for 5th edition and Swords and Wizardry. Ever wonder how Frog God Games got its name? Of course, we have to credit Clark Ashton Smith, but our role-playing roots lie in Teagle Manor. First published in 1977, Teagle Manor is the oldest of haunted house adventures in fantasy role-playing, and probably the very first mega dungeon ever published. The manor is a sprawling edifice of 250 plus rooms filled with tricks, traps, puzzles, monsters, and situations both humorous and horrific. The huge manor house has been the curse of its owners, the Rump family for generations. No matter how many times they have tried to get rid of it, the ownership manages to come back to them. This intertwined and sinister relationship between the house and its chosen family is a history of horror, evil, and greed. There's a lot for the characters to learn about the curse, and their knowledge might just keep them alive long enough to tell the tale. If you've already seen the 1977 version of the Manor, there's a lot more for you to learn in this updated and expanded 5e version of the classic. This printing contains expanded descriptions of the rooms, new areas, new monsters, new magical items, and much more, all with these spectacular color illustrations. In addition to the manor itself, this book also contains a 4-level dungeon under the manor, fully detailed, the Temple of the Frog and the Monastery of Garm, as well as a full-length new adventure, The Sanctum of Madness, a detailed handling of Teagle Village, the wilderness area, the Black Dragon Lair, great, now I've given it away, and even the Pirate Lair and Tower along the seacoast. All 100 members of the Rump family are described and detailed, and many even have portraits done. There are over 15 new monsters and dozens of never-before-seen magic items. Frog God Games has put together a pretty cool Kickstarter video. This one runs a little under 4 minutes as well, and definitely check this out. If the video would load up. All right, the Kickstarter for the new edition of Teagle Manor just launched. I don't know if it might have been today. I don't think it was Friday. I think it was actually today. And at least earlier today when I took a peek, it was already over 200% funded. You can reserve a copy of the PDF plus all unlocked stretch goals for either 5th edition D&D or Swords and Wizardry, which is an OSR game based on D&D BX, I want to say basic and expert, if I remember correctly. Anyway, you can get the PDF. You get to choose which one you want, which edition, for a $25 pledge, or you get the physical hardcover and PDF. Plus, with both pledge levels, you get all the stretch goals. You can get the physical hardcover for $50. This is running through December 23rd. It does have an expected delivery of August of next year. Very, very cool. This is pretty sweet. And you know what? $25 for a Mega Dungeon PDF from Frog God Games is a decent deal. I mean, that's not too terrible, because it's going to be well over 200 pages, I'm sure. So plus whatever stretch goals come out. Now the funny thing is, okay, so I think most people watching know that I have been involved in gaming for a long time. But I remember Judge Guild stuff, and I don't recall us ever really going and buying it. Now maybe I'm misremembering, but one of the reasons why I was kind of turned off on Judges Guild, and now, okay, unfortunately, years later, I have heard that a lot of their stuff was really, really good. I swear, for some reason, I think I had the City States of the Invincible Overlord. I think I had that. But I kind of shied away from a lot of the Judges Guild stuff because of the quality of the paper. They would release their modules and stuff like that, and it was not necessarily pulp paper, but it wasn't like regular paper. It was like really bizarre. Plus, I never thought the artwork was very good, so I was kind of like, Judges Guild, meh. And then, of course, after the fact, it turns out that a lot of stuff was pretty cool. And I have always heard pretty cool things about Teagle Manor. So that is definitely a Kickstarter you'll probably want to take a peek at. So when I was talking about the Mutant Year Zero Elysium, I had mentioned Tales from the Loop. So this is Cyber Monday. This is the final day of the big sale going on over at Drive-Thru RPG. There are over 47,000 PDFs that you can save a minimum of 33% on. This is actually the best sale that the drive-thru sites has every year. It's always the Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Normally I don't see 33% off in other sales, even the one we just had for the Halloween sale. Sure, we got all the cool little freebies, but most of the time it's about 20% off. So this is pretty much like the best that you're going to see. Do want to point out, Cyber Monday, there are some specials going on right now. So you can pick up Masks, A New Generation, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse superhero game, which I have heard great things about. You can pick up the core book for $2.99. Pretty sweet. And speaking of Free League Publishing, you can get the awesome Tales from the Loop, if you have not picked that up yet, for $5.99. So pretty sweet deal. Okay, so that is it for the news for today. I'm going to take a look at Codenames Marvel in just a minute. Just wanted to point out what's coming up on the show this week. So on tomorrow's show, I'm actually going to share my interview with Daryl Hayhurst, and we're going to talk about Torg Eternity as well as the new Kickstarter for the Nile Empire that's going to launch on Wednesday. So that's kind of my feature tomorrow. I would like to do more interviews with people, not just do it when, I'm at Origins or Gen Con. So I am reaching out to some folks to try to do more interviews. Maybe do interviews on Tuesdays, right? Because like Wednesdays is War Game Wednesdays. Maybe Tuesdays could be like Talkie Tuesdays. I don't know. just a thought, just an idea, as I accidentally bumped the tripod there with my foot. So that's on Tuesday's show. Now on Wednesday, War Game Wednesday, I am going to unbox and take a first look at the new edition of A Distant Plane from my good friends over at GMT. This is the second edition. We're going to dive into this. This is part of the coin series. It's from Boku Runke and Brian Train. So I did a written review for this, but I have never actually put it on video, I don't recall. So plus we want to see what's new in the second edition. So that's on Wednesday's show. Then on Thursday's show, I am going to review Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And I think this is going to be a very divisive product. I will tell you that right now. Especially if you're a game master, or I should say dungeon master, who is not into old school. And I keep telling people, and people don't listen to me, I keep saying 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is way more old school than 3rd or 4th or 3.5. Way more old school. And I think there's some things with the Dungeon of the Mad Mage some folks will not like. Personally, yeah, wait till Thursday and I'll do the review. All right, so as I mentioned, today I'm going to take a first look at Codenames Marvel from USAopoly. It's designed by Vlad Chvátil and Casey Sershan, I believe might be the correct pronunciation, with artwork provided by Casey Sershan. The game is for 2 to 8 players, ages 8 and up, plays in around 15 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $24.95. I have seen the game online as low as about $18. So just to point that out. All right, let's move on over to the other camera. So let's pop this on open. I'm going to toss on my reading specs here. Because I don't think people realize that this game right here is not like right here in front of me. It's like off a little bit. So sometimes I have to kind of take a peek, kind of looking further away. All right, so of course this is part of the very popular Codenames series of games, and of course it's Marvel Comics. So this was like really hot at Origins when it came out. Now, my best friend Elliot Miller actually gave me this for my birthday. So, yeah, kind of weird. Kind of weird to get a game for my birthday from Elliot. So anyway, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and Hydra agents compete to identify all of their team's asset cards displayed on a secret grid. Only each team's director knows the locations of the asset cards their team is trying to find. The director gives clues in the form of a code word that will help their agents find these Marvel assets. Agents must be careful not to decipher a code incorrectly so they don't help the other team, or worse, pick the assassin and lose immediately. It's a race to identify all of your team's asset cards first. I am the first to point out I have not played any of the Codenames games. I haven't. I know. People are probably sitting there going, oh my gosh, how dare you, Jeff? I just haven't. I mean, I think sometimes people don't realize that even as a reviewer and stuff like that, it's not like I get to play every single game that comes out. All right, so we got the rules here. So I got the instruction book. Pretty short. What are we looking at? Maybe 12 pages. All right, so we're talking table of contents. Talking about we've got 200 asset cards, 40 key cards, a card stand, 25 cover cards. So talking about the setup of the game. Talking about key cards. Each game will use one key card that shows the location of the asset cards for each team. Directors choose a key card randomly and place it any side up on the stand between them. Do not let agents see the key card. Oh, okay. So personally, I'm getting a feeling that this is probably a game that you're going to want to have probably anywhere from like 4 to 8, because it is for 2 to 8. But if you've got like a director, I would think that you probably want to have more than just 2 players. So we're showing the starting team, cover cards. So we got we got a shield team, neutral, Hydra, double agent card. It says this is one card that's different on each side. giving a clue, keep a straight face, yeah, there you go, identifying, about number of guesses, valid clues, gameplay example. So we got turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Oh, here we go, 2-player game. So we got a 2-player variant. Hey, there's a 3-player game too. That's kind of cool. 3 players who want to be on the same team can play as described in the 2-player game. If 2 players want to compete against each other, they can be rival directors while the 3rd player is the guesser for both. That doesn't sound... Guesser, that doesn't... That word just sounds weird, doesn't it? So we've got some alternative gameplay. Cool. Yep, there you go. 12 pages. Sweet. All right. So we've got the different tiles. So this is the double agent tile I see. Let's punch some of these out for the heck of it. And look, we got Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet on that one there. So I'm going to punch these out and then we're going to... So let's test my Marvel knowledge, right? Oh, wait a second. Oh, there's nothing on these. They're just both sides like that. I guess maybe those are. Okay, those are cover cards, maybe. Yep. Okay, so those are cover cards. All right. So here we got the Infinity Gauntlet. There's Thanos, like I said. What we got on Hydra here? We got the Hydra cover cards here. So we got Infinity Stones. So we got 6 Infinity Stones. Okay. We got a bunch of bags. Wow, that's kind of wild. All right, so here we got some cards. So I think these are the key, that was saying the key, these are the key cards. And then these are the other cards. And then we got a little stand. So, all right, so let's take a peek. I think these are just showing different setups, which I think each of the directors gets to see what this setup is. All right, fairly decent card stock on these, but I mean it is card. Okay, so yeah, it's showing a different Shield as well as Hydra. So I'm thinking, guess Shield are going to be heroes and Hydra will be villains. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so those right here, let that kind of focus in. So these are the key cards. Let's see what we got. I'll tell you right here, we got J. Jonah Jameson, publisher of the Daily Bugle. All right, we're not going to look through every single one of these, but I'll kind of take a peek through. Tell you what, I am going to go out on a limb, knowing when this game came out, and say that we will not see... you know what? I'm going to go in here real quick, because it looks like we're getting some autofocus going on, and I do not want that. There we go. Get rid of that. Save that. Okay, there we go. Much better. Because it's kind of zooming out, come back, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's not what I want. It's really weird. So I set up the program that I use to do the stream and that. I had to set it up a little bit differently to do the interview with Daryl. And when I came back and switched over to what I usually have set up with all the different little scenes and things like that, it was all messed up. I was like, huh. That was one of the reasons why I didn't finish doing the date. Didn't have the date right in the corner earlier, and that was because I was messing around making sure all the settings were correct again. All right, so there's J. Jonah Jameson. There's somebody's boots. Okay, so that's Hawkeye. I can tell that's Hawkeye right there. Mary Jane. Howard the Duck. Wow, that's pretty wild. Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to take a wild guess that we are not going to see the Fantastic Four, and I don't think we're going to see the X-Men. Is that supposed to be Agent Coulson? I'm not sure if he's in the comics. I think he's in the comics. Beta Ray Bill. Miss Marvel. Well, one of the Miss Marvels. Is that Deathlock? Might be. Yep. Oh, hey, it says right on the back. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna take a guess. Maybe that's one of the Sentinels? No, it's a Celestial. All right, so that's the Black Widow's stingers. That's Luke Cage's chains. That is the Cosmic Cube. Or in the movie universe, the Tesseract. That is the Hobgoblin's little flying thing that he rides. Do you know? Oh, that's Doctor Strange's amulet, isn't it? Yep, the Eye of Agamotto. Don't know. Somebody's glass. Oh, is that Thor's eye? It just says eye patch. Okay. Repulsor ray. There's Nova's helmet. That is okay. So I'm going way out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that's the Black Knight's sword. Let's take a peek. Nah, it just says sword. Yeah, that's the Black Knight's sword. Mandarin's power rings. I don't know. Nick Fury's gun. This says pistol. Ooh, that could be the oh, he's a villain. He's the Absorbing Man. I want to say it's the Absorbing Man. Is Wrecking Ball or whatever. Gonna take a guess. That's War Machine. Obviously, that's Captain America's shield. Looks like the Hulk smashing something. Hobgoblin's bomb, or would this be Green Goblin's bombs? Just says pumpkin bomb. It's Iron Man. Thor's hammer. Don't know. Edelon? I don't know. All right, Doctor Strange. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of these are kind of like items, right? Some of these are items. Oh, it looks like there's the Avengers. It's the movie Avengers too. A Scarlet Spider and Black Cat. Just says feud. All right, whatever. Nova Corps. It's kind of wild that they got a bunch of these. Trying to make sure that I don't have like a bunch of glare here. If you're not into the Marvel, I should say, if you're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but not really into the comics, there's a lot of stuff in here that people wouldn't know what it is. So we got Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. There's Thanos again. And Doctor Strange. So it just says Conjure. Okay, so that's some of these. We're not going to look through all of that stack. Because there are 200 cards, we're not going to look through every card. Let's look to see what we got in here. I wonder if this is going to be more like the heroes, or if it's just going to be kind of a mashup of a bunch of stuff like we saw in that first deck of cards. Okay, so we got Iron Man, the Falcon. Just grab some of these. Yeah, it looks like it's all the characters here. So Iron Man, Falcon, Daredevil, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Incredible Hulk, Vision, Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man. It's the Lizard Man. Oh, well, now it's just the Lizard. It used to be Lizard Man, Doc Connors. Scorpion, Vulture, Agents of AIM. Don't know. Agents of Hydra? I'm guessing those are Agent. Yep, Hydra. Black Panther, Nick Fury. Don't know. Captain Marvel like that? I mean, obviously it's her outfit, but I don't know. Okay. I don't read as many Marvel comics as I once did. To be honest, I'm like more from like the 70s, 80s, 90s even. It's just really difficult to kind of, stay up on all the Marvel comics, right? Without going broke. Yeah. Destroyer? Oh, Claw. There we go. There's the Hobgoblin. Craven the Hunter. Crossbones. Oh, jeez. It's not... Is it... No, it's not the Thinker. He's one of the villains that the Hulk goes up against all the time. The Leader, that's it. All right, then we got Bullseye, Sandman, the Absorbing Man. Shoot. I know the character too. It's Shocker. There we go. All right, there we go. There's Venom. Winter Soldier. I'm guessing this is probably Ultron now. Oh no, Yellow Jacket. Wow, that's what Yellow Jacket looks like now. Dr. Octopus. Serpent Supreme. Oh, Madam Hydra. Mysterio. One of my, you know what? It's kind of funny. I know a lot of people rip on like Spider-Man's, like the villains, his kind of like low-level baddies that he fights all the time. Honestly, I think that's what set Spider-Man apart from other comics back in the 60s and 70s. Was that it? You know, he had more to like kind of, I don't want to say street level villains that he would fight, but I mean they weren't, you know, like earth-shattering. I know a lot of people hate the Vulture for some strange reason. I always thought the Vulture was fine. But I want to say, I swear, I think my brother's favorite Spider-Man villain is probably Mysterio. We've got Electro, the Rhino. Isn't that Kang? Yep. MODOK, the Abomination. Don't know. Oh, not Norman Osborn. I don't know. Just some of the newer artwork kind of throws me off. Kingpin. Don't know who that is. Oh, Baron von Strucker. Captain America, one of villain Captain America fights. He's one of the Hydra guys. Green Goblin. And Carnage. So pretty cool. Very cool. So there's 200 of these. So it looks as if so what does this say for J. Jonah Jameson? Does it just say like yelling? I don't know, it just says J. Jonah Jameson. Okay. Well, because the one that had I want to say, I think it's Scarlet Spider and Black Cat just said feud. I was like, oh, okay. All right, so we've got the different cards. There's Mobius. We've got the baggies. We've got the Infinity Stones. We've got some of the Hydra cover cards. We've got some of the Shield cover cards. We got these that I punched out. You know what? I wonder if there's like a variant or something that features Thanos and the Infinity Stones. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I didn't notice anything in here, but that would be pretty sweet. All right, and that is what we find when we take everything from Codenames Marvel outside the box. Now, I will have a review of Codenames Marvel in the very near future. Probably within the next couple of weeks. This is a game that obviously I can easily get my nephew Cameron to play. I can easily get my brother to play because it's Marvel. So yeah, so should be able to get a review in of that in a couple of weeks. Once again, as I mentioned, the game is for 2 to 8 players, ages 8 and up, plays in around 15 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $24.95. All right, so that is it for today's show. I always like to point out that when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. And now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I will be back tomorrow with my interview with Daryl Hayhurst. So until then, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.